An unstoppable routine begins the moment you decide that your day will not control you, you will control your day. Before we dive in, I want you to think about something simple. How many days have you opened your eyes and felt unprepared, unfocused, or already behind? How many times have you told yourself you'd change your habits only to fall back into the same patterns because life got loud again? You're not alone. Most people struggle not because they lack potential, but because their days have no clear structure to guide them. This audiobook is designed to help you change that, not with complicated ideas, but with real, everyday steps that make sense in a normal life. You will learn how to build a routine that feels steady, realistic, and personal. A routine that helps you grow a little every day without pressure or confusion. If you want a life where you feel organized, confident, and in control of your direction, stay with me. This is where your real change begins. Chapter 1. Start daily steps that build steady progress. Starting daily steps that build steady progress begins with a simple truth that has shaped every strong life. Progress is not a single moment. Progress is a repeated choice. A choice made with clarity, honesty, and commitment. A choice made each morning when the world is quiet and you can hear yourself think. A choice made when no one is watching. A choice made when the day feels heavy and movement feels slow. A routine becomes unstoppable when your daily steps stop relying on mood and start relying on a clear decision. Today can be better than yesterday if you give it a real chance. And a routine becomes your partner in building that better day. Many people wait for a big change before they begin, but real improvement begins with the first small step you take right now. The first step shapes the second builds the third. Soon your steps turn into a rhythm that supports you. It does not need to be perfect, it only needs to be real. When you choose a simple action and repeat it daily, something inside you strengthens. You start trusting yourself again. You start believing that your future can be shaped by your present effort. Progress becomes your own creation. Daily steps work because they are honest. A new routine does not ask for endless energy. It asks for presence. It asks for a few minutes of attention, a moment of effort, a clear choice. When you build these steps into your day, you build a structure that protects your growth. You know what you need to do and why you need to do it. You no longer drift through hours without purpose. You move with direction. You take responsibility for your days. You give yourself permission to grow. Every person who has built a strong life understands the power of starting small. When you start with small steps, you remove pressure. You create a path you can follow. You give yourself a fair chance to win each day. One small action done consistently holds more strength than a burst of effort that disappears tomorrow. You do not need to fight the entire day. You only need to take the next step in front of you. Over time, those steps build a steady foundation. This foundation supports discipline, and discipline supports success. Human behavior changes when the mind accepts that improvement is possible. Daily steps help your mind see results. Each time you complete a small action, your mind records it. It sees that you are capable. It sees that you are willing. It sees that you are moving forward. This creates confidence. Confidence is built from evidence. Evidence comes from action. And action begins with one step repeated every day. To build steady progress, start with a clear decision about which small steps matter most to your life. Choose actions that support your health, your learning, your goals, and your sense of direction. Start with steps that are simple to follow. A short stretch, a page of reading, a moment of stillness, a task finished without delay. These steps may look small, but they carry weight. They shape your behavior. They shape your mood. They shape your identity. When you repeat them, You begin to see yourself as someone who honors their routine. Once you choose your steps, place them in your day where they belong. If a certain action supports your morning, set it at that time. If another strengthens your evening, keep it there. Structure brings comfort. Structure brings clarity. When you know what to do and when to do it, your mind relaxes and your energy increases. You stop battling confusion. You start living with intention. The real power of a routine comes from consistency. Consistency does not require perfection, it requires return. Even if you miss a day, return the next. Even if you feel tired, return with a small effort. Even if progress feels slow, return with honesty. The act of returning builds strength. Each return is a victory. It shows that you care about your future. It shows that you refuse to give up on yourself. Many people wait for motivation to begin, but daily steps create their own motivation. When you complete just one step, you feel a spark of progress. That spark encourages you to continue. Your body feels lighter. Your mind becomes clearer. You start feeling proud of your effort. Motivation grows from movement. Movement grows from small, consistent steps. The cycle strengthens you. Human psychology supports routines that reduce uncertainty. When your mind knows the next step, it feels safe. When your body knows the next action, it feels ready. When your day has predictable steps, your stress lowers. This creates mental space. This mental space allows you to think better, make better decisions, and grow at a steady pace. You begin to feel in control of your life. Control brings peace. Peace brings strength. Building an unstoppable routine also means respecting your own pace. Progress does not require speed. Progress requires sincerity. When you bring sincerity to each daily step, you feel connected to your growth. You know why you are doing it. You know what it means to your future. You know the value it brings. This connection makes you stronger. You move with purpose, not pressure. There will be days when you do not feel ready. On those days, shrink the step. Make it smaller but still complete it. A shorter workout, a shorter read, a shorter reflection. Even a small win keeps your routine alive. When the day feels heavy, a tiny step can lift you. A routine built on small wins becomes unbreakable because it survives real human days. Days with energy. Days without. Days with clarity. Days with confusion. The steps hold you steady. Over time, these daily actions begin to change how you see yourself. You begin to see consistency as part of your identity. You start trusting that you can follow through. Trust in yourself is one of the strongest forces in personal growth. When you trust yourself, you stop delaying, you stop doubting, you stop making excuses, you start acting, you start growing, you start building a life that matches your goals. Daily steps also create a strong emotional connection to your future. You begin to feel that your future is not distant. It is shaped by what you do today. This brings hope. Hope brings energy. Energy brings action. You move with a sense of purpose because you understand that your choices today build the person you become tomorrow. Every step becomes meaningful. As your routine grows stronger, you notice real changes. Your mood improves. Your focus sharpens. Your confidence rises. Your days feel more stable. You handle pressure better. You think more clearly. You act with intention. You build inner strength. This strength shows up in your actions, your decisions, your conversations, and your goals. People around you notice it. But more importantly, you notice it within yourself. Steady progress brings a feeling of pride, a clean and honest pride, a pride earned through effort, a pride that tells you that you are moving in the right direction. This feeling pushes you forward. It reminds you that you are capable of building something strong, something steady, something that lasts. An unstoppable routine is not a destination, it is a daily creation. When you treat each day as a chance to take one steady step, your life begins to shift, your mind becomes sharper, your heart becomes stronger, your actions become clearer, and your future becomes brighter. This is how progress is built. This is how change becomes real. This is how an unstoppable routine is formed. One honest step repeated each day with purpose and belief. Chapter 2. Set clear tasks that structure your entire day. Setting clear tasks that structure your entire day begins with gaining full control over how your time is used. Most people move through the day reacting to whatever shows up. They start with good intentions, but end up pulled in different directions. Without a clear plan, the mind becomes scattered and energy slips away. When you set clear tasks, you give yourself direction. You give yourself purpose. You give your mind something firm to follow. A day with structure brings peace because you know where to place your effort and how to measure your progress. This is where a strong routine begins to take shape. Clear tasks help you understand what truly matters. When you take a moment to choose specific actions for the day, you stop letting random events dictate your schedule. You build your day with intention. You decide what gets your attention instead of letting distractions take over. This simple step changes your relationship with time. Your breathing slows, your mind sharpens, and your purpose becomes visible. You recognize that your day is not something that simply happens to you. It is something you create. That feeling alone brings strength. A structured day begins the moment you choose your tasks. Start by identifying the 3 or 4 actions that will make the biggest difference. These should be practical, reachable, and meaningful. When your list is short and clear, your mind feels ready to work. It understands what to do first, what to do next, and where to direct focus. This eliminates confusion. Confusion drains motivation. Clarity increases it. A clear task list gives you a sense of order that carries you through the day with stability and confidence. Human psychology responds well to clarity. When you wake up knowing exactly what you need to accomplish, your body feels more prepared. Your energy rises because there is no guessing. Your mind becomes calmer because there is a path to follow. Stress lowers because uncertainty no longer controls the morning. You become more stable inside. This inner stability shows up in your work, your conversations, and your decisions. You think better because you know where your day is heading. Setting clear tasks also strengthens discipline. Discipline grows when the mind sees a clear plan. A plan directs your effort. Effort creates movement. Movement builds progress. Progress reinforces discipline. And discipline becomes easier when the steps are simple and the targets are clear. Even on difficult days, a well-structured task list gives you something to hold on to. A plan keeps you grounded. It keeps you moving when your energy feels low. It gives you a reason to take the next step. A strong day requires more than tasks. It requires understanding why each task matters. When you attach meaning to your tasks, you build emotional connection. This connection helps you stay committed. For example, a task that improves your health is not just something to finish. It is something that protects your future. A task that builds a skill is not just an item on a list. It is something that opens new opportunities. When tasks carry meaning, your effort becomes deeper and your drive becomes stronger. Your day gains structure when tasks are placed at the right time. Every person has natural peaks of energy. Some feel stronger in the morning, others think more clearly in the afternoon. When you place important tasks during your stronger hours, your productivity rises. You feel more capable. You handle tasks faster. You feel less overwhelmed. This creates confidence because you are working with your own rhythm instead of against it. Matching tasks to your internal pace builds efficiency and reduces frustration. A structured day does not require strict control, it requires honest awareness. You do not need to fill every minute. You only need to place the right tasks in the right order. This balance prevents burnout. It gives you room to breathe. It gives you space to reset your mind. A healthy routine respects your energy while still pushing you forward. When your day is structured well, you feel steady rather than rushed. You feel calm rather than overwhelmed. You move through the day with purpose instead of pressure. Clear tasks also create emotional momentum. Each completed task gives you a small feeling of achievement. This achievement encourages you to continue. Your body feels lighter. Your thinking becomes clearer. You gain a sense of pride in your own consistency. These small wins are powerful because they prove that you can follow your plan. They show you that you are capable of directing your day. They remind you that you are responsible for your progress and you can handle that responsibility. When your day is structured, your motivation becomes more stable. Without structure, motivation rises and falls. One moment you feel inspired, the next you feel lost. A structured day reduces these swings. It holds you steady by giving you measurable steps. You do not need to rely on feelings to guide your effort. You follow your plan. You take one action after another. This keeps you moving when inspiration fades. It keeps your life progressing, even on days when your mood is low. A clear task list also protects your attention. Distractions lose power when you know what you must accomplish. If something unimportant shows up, you can easily return to your plan. You do not drift away as easily. You do not waste hours without realizing it. You stay focused because your mind has a clear direction. Focus is one of the strongest tools for growth. It helps you finish what you start. It helps you avoid unnecessary stress. It helps you build a life that reflects your goals. Structuring your day also strengthens your sense of control. Many people feel overwhelmed because they do not know what to do next. When you assign clear tasks, you regain control of your time. You no longer wander through the day unsure of what matters. You become the one making decisions. Control gives you confidence. Confidence gives you energy. Energy turns into action. This is how structure transforms your day and strengthens your routine. A strong day includes moments of review. At the end of the day, look at your tasks. Ask yourself which ones helped your progress and which ones slowed you down. This reflection teaches you about your own behavior. You learn what supports your routine and what weakens it. You gain insight into how your mind works, how your energy functions, and how your attention shifts. This learning helps you refine your tasks for the next day. Each review makes you smarter about your own habits, and smart habits build strong routines. When you build your day with clear tasks, you build a life with direction. You stop feeling lost. You stop feeling behind. You stop feeling confused about what to do next. Instead, you feel organized. You feel prepared. You feel responsible for your own growth. This sense of responsibility empowers you. It gives you the courage to aim higher and the strength to follow through. Over time, your structured days begin to shape your identity. You start seeing yourself as someone who follows through, someone who stays committed, someone who directs their life with intention. This identity creates long-term stability. It makes you stronger emotionally. It gives you the confidence to take on bigger goals. It reminds you that steady progress comes from clear daily action. A structured day builds a structured life, and a structured life supports your dreams. When you wake each morning with clear tasks, you step into a day you can shape, a day you can grow from, a day you can be proud of. This is how an unstoppable routine is built, through clear tasks that guide your energy, protect your focus, and give your life real direction.
Chapter 3.
Strengthen habits that keep your routine stable. Strengthening habits that keep your routine stable begins with understanding how deeply your daily actions shape your life. A routine becomes dependable only when your habits are strong enough to support it even on days when your motivation is low. Stability in your routine does not come from force. It comes from building habits that feel natural and meaningful. Habits that fit your real life, habits that grow with you instead of fighting against you. When your habits are strong, your routine becomes something you can trust. It becomes something that protects your goals rather than something you struggle to maintain. A habit becomes strong when it is repeated with purpose. Many people try to change their lives by relying on willpower alone. But willpower fades, habits remain. A habit is built through consistent action that teaches your mind and body what to expect each day. Each repetition makes the habit easier to follow. Each action becomes a reminder of the life you are trying to build. When you form habits that support your routine, you create a foundation that holds steady even when your day is busy or stressful. To strengthen a habit, start by making it simple. A simple habit is easier to follow and harder to avoid. When you begin with something small, your mind accepts it more easily. You do not feel overwhelmed. You do not feel pressured. You feel capable. And when you feel capable, you continue. Over time, this repetition builds strength. A habit that began with a few minutes can grow into a larger action without forcing anything. It becomes part of who you are. Habits become stronger when they are connected to a clear reason. When you understand why a habit matters, your commitment increases. You are not just brushing off the action as another task. You are connecting it to your goals, your health, your future, and your identity. A habit tied to meaning has more power. It lasts longer. It becomes something you want to do instead of something you feel obligated to complete. When your habits carry purpose, your routine becomes something you value deeply. To create a stable routine, you must make your habits easy to begin. Friction is the enemy of consistency. When a habit requires too many steps or too much preparation, your mind puts it off. Removing friction creates opportunity. You can place items where you can see them. You can prepare small things the night before. You can keep your environment clean and organized so your habits unfold naturally. This small adjustment makes it easier to stick to your routine because the path to action is clear. Stability grows when your habits match your current lifestyle. If a habit is unrealistic, it becomes a burden. But when a habit fits your daily rhythm, it becomes comforting. You can follow it without stress. You can adjust it when needed. You can maintain it on busy days and energize it on calm days. A flexible habit survives real life. It stays with you during changes, challenges, and unexpected situations. A habit that can survive these moments becomes strong enough to anchor your routine. Many people struggle with consistency because they expect immediate results. Habits do not work that way. Their strength comes from quiet repetition, not from quick transformation. Each day you follow a habit, your identity shifts a little. You start seeing yourself as someone who follows through, someone who keeps promises to themselves, someone who values their growth. This identity becomes a powerful force. It helps you return to your habits even when the day feels heavy. Identity-driven habits last because they are connected to who you believe you are. A strong habit also depends on structure. When you know when and where a habit belongs in your day, the action becomes predictable. Predictability brings comfort. You do not waste energy deciding whether to act. You simply follow the rhythm you created. This rhythm brings stability. It builds confidence. It creates a dependable routine that supports your life. When your habits have a place and a time, your day feels more organized and your mind feels more focused. Another important part of strengthening habits is tracking them. When you record your progress, you give yourself proof of consistency. This proof feeds your confidence. It shows that you are moving forward,
even on days when progress feels slow. It also helps you see which habits are working and which ones need adjustment. Tracking is not about pressure, it is about awareness. Awareness helps you grow. Awareness helps you stay on track. Awareness strengthens the habits that build your routine. To keep your routine stable, you must protect your habits from unnecessary distractions. Some distractions are harmless, others quietly pull you away from your growth. When you reduce these distractions, your habits gain space to thrive. Your mind becomes clearer, your focus becomes stronger. You start noticing how much calmer your day feels when your habits are not constantly interrupted. Protecting your habits is another way of protecting your goals. A stable routine also requires emotional connection. A habit becomes stronger when you feel good after completing it. This emotional reward motivates you to return to it. You might feel proud, you might feel calmer, you might feel energized. These positive feelings create momentum. They remind you why your habits matter. They reinforce your belief in your personal growth. Emotional rewards transform habits into something you want to maintain every day. When your habits are strong, they support you during difficult moments. On days when motivation drops, your habits step in and guide your action. On days when your energy feels low, your habits remind you that even a small effort counts. On days when your mind feels scattered, your habits give you stability. A strong habit does not rely on how you feel. It remains steady. It remains predictable. It remains something you can lean on. The strongest habits are rooted in self-respect. When you honor your habits, you honor yourself. You are telling yourself that your goals matter. You are telling yourself that your future deserves attention. You are telling yourself that your life is worth the effort. This self-respect deepens your commitment. It makes your routine stronger and more meaningful. To strengthen habits that keep your routine stable, you must be patient with yourself. Growth takes time. New behavior requires adjustment. You may have days when you feel off track. Those days do not erase your progress. They are simply part of the process. What matters is returning to your habits with honesty and determination. Each return makes the habit stronger. Each return proves your commitment. Each return builds discipline that becomes part of your character. A stable routine is built one small habit at a time. As these habits grow stronger, your days feel smoother, your confidence grows, your focus sharpens, your energy increases, your mind becomes more organized. You begin to experience a quiet sense of stability that carries you through challenges. And this stability comes from habits that you strengthened through consistency, purpose, patience, and clarity. In time, you begin to feel the shift inside you. You start recognizing the difference between living by chance and living by intention. You begin to feel proud of the discipline you built. You experience the calm that comes from knowing your habits are supporting your life. This is how your routine becomes stable. This is how your stability becomes strength. This is how you grow into a person who builds their life with purpose. And the stronger your habits become, the stronger your routine becomes, and the stronger you become.
Chapter 4. Create predictable steps that direct your daily flow. Creating predictable steps that direct your daily flow begins with understanding how much your mind depends on order to function at its best. A day without structure leaves you feeling scattered, unfocused, and easily pulled by things that do not matter. But when your day follows a clear set of steps, your energy becomes steady, your thoughts become organized, and your decisions become sharper. Predictable steps act like a guide that keeps you moving in the right direction without constant inner debate. When you know what comes next, you save mental energy and reduce stress. You begin to move through your day with a sense of calm readiness instead of confusion or hesitation. Predictable steps make your daily flow feel smooth and natural. Your mind loves consistency. When you repeat the same sequence of actions, your brain builds a pattern
that pattern becomes familiar. Familiarity reduces resistance. Resistance is what holds most people back from starting their day with purpose. When your steps are predictable, your mind does not fight you. It follows the plan with less effort, which helps you move into action even when your motivation is low. A predictable flow removes the emotional weight that usually comes with starting tasks because the direction is already set. A strong daily flow begins with choosing steps that serve your goals and match your real life. These steps must make sense, they must be practical, they must feel doable. If they are unrealistic, the flow breaks. The power of predictable steps is that they give your mind something firm to follow. So choose steps that guide you instead of overwhelm you. It can begin with simple actions like preparing your space, reviewing your priorities, focusing on essential work, taking short breaks, moving your body and closing your day with reflection. These steps are not complicated. Their strength comes from repetition, not intensity. When your steps are placed in a predictable order, your day takes on a rhythm. This rhythm makes it easier to focus. You are not constantly switching tasks without direction. You are not bouncing between random thoughts. You are not trying to figure out what to do next every hour. You follow a sequence that supports productivity and reduces mental clutter. A clear flow gives your mind time to settle. You feel more grounded throughout the day because you are not fighting unnecessary chaos. Predictable steps also help you stay in control of your feelings. Your emotions shift throughout the day, and many people allow those emotions to decide their actions. But when your day has a predictable flow, your emotions do not lead your choices, your structure does. This helps you maintain stability even during stressful moments. You know what needs to be done because your steps are already in place. This sense of control reduces anxiety and increases confidence. You begin to trust the flow you created. Trust gives you strength. Another reason predictable steps are powerful is that they reduce decision fatigue. Every choice you make costs energy. The more choices you make, the more drained you feel. When your day is predictable, many of your actions become automatic. You no longer waste energy deciding what to do first or how long to spend on something. You follow the flow. This preserves your energy for meaningful work. You become more productive without working harder. You become more efficient without adding pressure. Predictable steps also help you stay consistent. Consistency is the foundation of a strong routine, but many people struggle with consistency because their days lack direction. When you create steps that repeat, consistency becomes easier because your mind recognizes the pattern. It becomes familiar with the rhythm. Each morning feels less overwhelming. Each afternoon feels more focused. Each evening feels more settled. This repetition builds a sense of reliability, and reliability strengthens your identity as someone who follows through. To create predictable steps that direct your daily flow, begin by examining how your days currently unravel. Notice where you lose time. Notice where your focus drops. Notice where you feel unsure about what to do next. These moments show you where your flow is breaking. When you identify the breaks, you can build steps that repair them. For example, if you spend too long trying to decide what to start with, then your first step might be a short planning moment. If you lose focus in the afternoon, a break or light movement might be part of your flow. Tailoring your steps to your real experience strengthens the structure. Once you choose your steps, repeat them every day until they feel natural. At first, the steps may feel forced. That is normal. New patterns always require a period of adjustment. But with repetition, your mind begins to accept them. The steps start to feel familiar. You stop thinking about them and begin acting through them. This shift is powerful. It turns effort into ease. It transforms discipline into habit. A predictable flow becomes part of your identity rather than something you must push yourself to follow. Predictable steps also help you maintain your focus when life becomes busy. When the world pulls your attention in many directions, your steps bring you back to what matters. They act as gentle reminders that your growth deserves attention. They prevent your day from slipping away without purpose. Even during chaotic days, a predictable flow keeps you grounded. You may not complete everything perfectly, but you complete enough to stay aligned with your goals. This stability keeps your progress alive. A strong daily flow must also include moments of pause. Predictability is not about filling every minute. It is about giving your day a clear direction. Short pauses help your mind reset. They allow your thoughts to settle. They prevent burnout. A pause is not a sign of weakness. It is a tool for maintaining strength throughout the day. When you build breaks into your predictable steps, you protect your energy and improve your productivity. Predictable steps also encourage self-awareness. When you follow the same flow daily, you begin to notice patterns in your behavior. You see where you excel. You see where you struggle. You see how your energy shifts throughout the day. This awareness helps you refine your steps. You can remove actions that no longer serve you. You can adjust the order of steps. You can improve the flow to match your current goals and lifestyle. This ongoing improvement makes your routine stronger and more supportive. Creating predictable steps is also a powerful form of self-respect. It shows that you care about how you live your day. It shows that you value your time. It shows that you are willing to take responsibility for your direction. When you respect your time, you naturally protect it. You stop allowing unimportant things to control your day. You begin to treat your actions with intention. This respect translates into stronger choices, better habits, and more meaningful progress. When your daily flow is predictable, you experience a deeper sense of stability. You wake up knowing what your day will feel like. You move through the morning with clarity. You handle the afternoon with focus. You close the evening with peace. This stability does not make your life rigid. It makes your life manageable. It gives you the emotional strength to face challenges. It creates space for progress to grow. As your predictable steps become part of your daily life, you start to feel a shift within yourself. You begin to trust your ability to create order. You notice how much calmer your mind feels. You see how your confidence grows as your actions become more consistent. You feel proud of your discipline. You feel connected to your goals. You feel stronger each day because your actions are aligned with your intentions. A predictable daily flow is not about perfection. It is about creating a direction you can follow with honesty and purpose. When your steps guide your day, you become more present, more aware and more capable. You build momentum that lasts. You grow into someone who shapes their life instead of waiting for life to shape them. This is how predictable steps direct your daily flow. This is how direction becomes power. This is how you build a routine that moves you forward every single day.
Chapter 5. Establish morning actions that trigger consistent effort. Establishing morning actions that trigger consistent effort begins with recognizing how much influence the first moments of your day have on your mindset, behavior, and direction. The morning sets the emotional tone for everything that comes after it. If you begin your day in a rushed, confused, or scattered state, the rest of your day becomes harder to manage. But if you begin with clear and steady actions, you build a level of control that supports focus, discipline, and progress. Morning actions are not about perfection. They are about building a strong starting point that carries you into the day with purpose. Your morning is the foundation of your routine. The mind is most open during these early moments. It is quieter. It is more responsive. It is less influenced by outside noise. This makes the morning a powerful time to shape your direction.
When you wake up with a set of actions that guide you, you create stability before the world can interfere. You give yourself time to settle your thoughts, understand your intentions, and prepare your energy. This preparation makes it easier to remain consistent throughout the day, because you are not starting from chaos. You are starting from clarity. The first action in the morning should give your mind a sense of order. This can be something simple that tells your body it is time to begin. It could be stretching, drinking water, sitting quietly for a moment, or reviewing your plans for the day. These small actions help you wake up with intention instead of rushing into tasks that demand your attention. When you begin with intentional steps, you remind yourself that the day belongs to you, not to circumstances. This reminder strengthens your ability to stay consistent. A strong morning routine does not need to be long, it needs to be purposeful. A few well-chosen actions are enough to shift your mindset and trigger steady effort. When your morning actions are predictable, they signal your brain to move into focus mode. You move from waking up to engaging with your day in a calm and steady way. This shift helps you resist distractions and emotional noise because you have already built momentum before the day has fully begun. Morning actions become powerful when they give you a sense of direction. Many people wake up feeling uncertain. They start scrolling through their phone. They step into the day with no plan. This drains energy before the day even begins. But when your morning includes actions that lift your mindset and point your attention toward meaningful tasks, you gain control. You feel more grounded. You feel more prepared. You feel more capable. Morning actions should guide your thoughts toward progress, not confusion. To trigger consistent effort, your morning actions must connect to your goals. They should remind you of what you are trying to build in your life. When you begin your day with clarity about your goals, you are less likely to drift into habits that waste time. You become more aware of how your choices shape your progress. This awareness influences your decisions throughout the day. It reminds you that every action matters. A morning that includes goal-focused actions gives you a sense of purpose that lasts beyond the early hours. Another important part of morning actions is emotional alignment. Everyone wakes up with different feelings each day. Some mornings you feel motivated, and other mornings you feel tired or uncertain. Morning actions help you stabilize your emotional state. When you complete actions that support your well-being, you feel calmer and clearer. This emotional stability becomes a strong foundation for consistent effort. Instead of relying on motivation, you rely on the structure you created. Your actions guide your feelings, instead of your feelings guiding your actions. Establishing morning actions also helps you avoid decision fatigue early in the day. When you know exactly what your morning looks like, you remove the need to make unnecessary decisions. This saves mental energy for important work. You start the day with fewer choices and more direction. This simple change increases your ability to stay focused because your mind is not overwhelmed with options. A predictable morning frees you from distractions and confusion. To create morning actions that trigger consistency, you must choose activities that genuinely support your life. Do not add tasks because they sound impressive. Add actions that improve your clarity, energy, and mindset. This could be writing your intentions for the day, preparing your workspace, organizing your schedule, or reviewing the tasks that matter most. These actions give your mind something steady to follow. They help you approach the day with confidence instead of hesitation. Consistency also grows when your morning actions are enjoyable. You do not need to make the morning difficult. It should not feel like a punishment. It should feel like preparation. Choose actions that lift your spirit and make you feel awake and capable. When you enjoy your morning, you return to it more easily. You build a sense of comfort and familiarity. This comfort strengthens consistency because it reduces resistance. Morning actions that trigger effort must also include a moment of mental readiness. This does not require anything complex. It can be a quiet moment to breathe, sit still, reflect, or remind yourself of what kind of day you want to create. This moment helps you collect your thoughts before the demands of the day arrive. It gives you time to gain awareness of your feelings, so you can direct them instead of letting them direct you. Mental readiness is a powerful tool for stability and self-control. Your morning actions should also help you build confidence. Confidence is not something you wait for. It is something you build with repeated effort. When you start your day with actions that prove your commitment, you begin to trust your ability to follow through. Each morning becomes a small success that strengthens your belief in yourself. These small successes accumulate. They shape your self-image. They remind you that you are someone who stays committed even when it is difficult. Morning actions also carry long-term impact. When you repeat the same actions each morning, they become automatic. Automatic habits require less energy, but produce strong results. They support your routine without forcing you to think about them. Over time, these actions create a stable base for your entire day. You start recognizing how much easier it becomes to maintain discipline when your morning starts with strength, clarity, and direction. As your morning actions strengthen, you feel more in control of your day. You move with intention. You work with consistency. You handle challenges with calmness. You follow your tasks more easily. You feel more connected to your goals. This change does not happen overnight. It happens through repetition. It happens through commitment. It happens through doing the right actions again and again, until they become part of who you are. Morning actions that trigger consistent effort remind you that improvement begins with how you start your day. When you begin with strength, your day follows with purpose. When you begin with clarity, your decisions become easier. When you begin with direction, you build momentum. This momentum becomes one of the most powerful forces in your personal growth. It keeps you moving even when motivation fades. It keeps you steady when life becomes busy. It keeps you aligned with your goals without forcing anything. Your morning is your chance to take control before the world influences your emotions and attention. When you build actions that support your growth, you give yourself an advantage that lasts throughout the day. You give yourself a better mindset. You give yourself a higher level of discipline. You give yourself a cleaner sense of direction. These advantages shape your identity and strengthen your routine. Establishing morning actions is not about creating a perfect life. It is about giving yourself a fair chance to win each day. When you take those early moments seriously, you build consistency that stays with you. That consistency becomes one of the strongest tools in your life. It supports your habits. It strengthens your routine. It shapes your progress. And over time, it builds the life you want, one steady day at a time.
Chapter 6. Choose daily priorities that support long-term routines. Choosing daily priorities that support long-term routines begins with understanding that every day offers you a limited amount of energy, attention, and time. You cannot give everything equal importance, and when you try, you end up feeling overwhelmed, distracted, and disconnected from your deeper goals. Long-term routines are built on choices made in the present. When you choose the right priorities each day, you create a path that gradually shapes your future. This process is not about rushing. It is about choosing wisely and acting with intention. Your daily priorities determine the direction of your routine. If your priorities are unclear, your routine becomes unstable. Without clarity, your mind reacts to whatever feels urgent instead of what truly matters. This reaction-based living keeps you busy but does not move you forward. But when you choose priorities that align with your goals, your day becomes purposeful. You understand what deserves your effort and what can be pushed aside. This clarity strengthens your routine because it keeps your actions connected to your long-term goals. A strong daily priority begins with asking yourself what matters most for your growth. This requires honesty.
It requires self-awareness. It requires responsibility. Long-term routines are not built on random actions. They are built on actions chosen with clear understanding of where you want to go. Your priorities should reflect your identity, your values, and your aspirations. When your priorities match your goals, you naturally stay consistent because your actions make sense to you. They feel meaningful. They feel necessary. Daily priorities must be simple and manageable. You cannot fill your day with 20 priorities and expect to sustain a long-term routine. Your mind needs focus, not pressure. When you choose a small number of clear priorities, your attention becomes sharper. You know exactly what to do first. You know what to protect from distractions. You know what must be finished before the day ends. A focused set of priorities gives your routine structure. Structure creates stability. Stability leads to long-term growth. Choosing daily priorities also teaches you discipline. Discipline does not grow from trying to do everything at once. Discipline grows from choosing what matters and saying no to what does not. You strengthen your discipline each time you choose a meaningful action over a meaningless one. Each time you stay with your priority instead of letting distractions take over, you gain more control over your life. This control strengthens your routine because you begin to act based on intention instead of impulse. Your daily priorities must reflect your long-term vision. If you want to improve your health, one of your priorities should support it. If you want to grow your skills, one priority should push you to learn. If you want more stability, one priority should help you organize your time or responsibility. When your priorities support your vision, your routine grows naturally. You do not need to force it. You simply act on what matters most, and your routine becomes strong through repeated meaningful choices. Choosing priorities also helps you avoid the frustration of scattered effort. Many people work hard but not effectively because their effort is spread too thin. They spend their day on small tasks that bring no real progress. But when you identify your priorities, you direct your effort where it creates impact. This impact builds momentum. Momentum increases confidence. Confidence strengthens your routine. You begin to see the results of your decisions, and those results motivate you to continue. Daily priorities also protect your time. When you know what matters, it becomes easier to guard your schedule from distraction. You stop giving your time to activities that drain your energy. You stop saying yes to things that break your routine. You stop allowing meaningless habits to control your day. Instead, you use your time with intention. You invest your attention where it counts. This protection strengthens your routine because it keeps your energy aligned with your goals. A strong long-term routine is supported by daily priorities that remain stable, even when life becomes busy. When challenges appear, your priorities guide you. They remind you of what you must protect. They help you stay grounded when your emotions shift. Even if you cannot accomplish everything, your priorities ensure that you focus on what matters most. This helps you maintain consistency even during difficult days. Consistency is the key to a strong routine. Your priorities help you stay steady. Choosing priorities also helps you understand the difference between urgent tasks and meaningful tasks. Urgent tasks demand attention, but meaningful tasks build your future. When you choose priorities based on meaning, you avoid the trap of chasing urgency all day. You stop feeling like you are running in circles. You begin to experience the calm that comes from focusing on what shapes your life. This shift brings a deep sense of direction. You feel more connected to your goals and less controlled by circumstances. Your daily priorities influence your emotional stability. When you work on meaningful actions, you feel satisfied. You feel productive. You feel respected by yourself. But when your day is filled with unimportant tasks, you feel drained and disappointed. Choosing priorities that support your long-term routine helps you build emotional strength. It gives you a sense of control. It gives you confidence in your ability to create progress. Emotional strength supports consistency, and consistency supports your routine. Choosing daily priorities requires you to slow down before you begin your day. Take a moment to think, consider your goals, consider your responsibilities, consider your energy. This pause helps you understand what deserves your focus. It helps you avoid rushing into your day without direction. This short moment of awareness has a powerful effect because it places your mind in a state of intention. Once intention is set, effort follows more naturally. Your priorities should be clear enough that you can explain them to yourself. Vague priorities do not create strong routines. If you say you want to be productive, your mind does not know what that means. But if you say you want to finish a specific task, your mind understands the direction. Clarity builds power. Power builds movement. Movement builds momentum. Daily priorities that are clear and specific help your routine function smoothly because you always know what step to take next. When you choose priorities that support your long-term routine, you begin to see how much your days shape your life. Each day becomes an opportunity to move closer to your goals. Each day becomes a chance to build something meaningful. Each day becomes a moment where you choose growth over distraction. These daily choices accumulate. They become the foundation of your long-term progress. They create a routine that is not forced but is supported by your own vision and effort. Over time, choosing meaningful daily priorities changes how you see yourself. You start viewing yourself as someone who takes responsibility for their growth, someone who understands what matters, someone who chooses actions that support their future. This identity strengthens your routine because you act in alignment with who you believe you are. Identity-driven action creates lasting change. It creates routines that do not break when life becomes difficult. As you continue choosing priorities each day, you feel your life gaining direction. You feel more stable. You feel more focused. You feel more confident. You begin to recognize how powerful your choices are. You no longer drift through your day. You guide it. You no longer hope for progress. You create it. Each priority becomes a step toward your long-term goal. Each step builds your routine. Each routine shapes your life. Choosing daily priorities that support long-term routines is not about perfection. It is about honesty, clarity, and commitment. It is about choosing what matters and following through with purpose. When you make these choices every day, you build a routine that supports your growth, protects your energy, and strengthens your identity. This is how you create long-term progress. This is how your days become meaningful. This is how your routine becomes unstoppable.
Chapter 7. Develop simple cues that remind you to act. Developing simple cues that remind you to act begins with understanding how the human mind responds to signals in the environment. People often believe they fail because they lack discipline, but more often they fail because their mind does not receive enough reminders to follow through. A cue is a small prompt that gently directs your attention toward the action you want to take. When cues are simple and well-placed, they reduce the effort needed to stay consistent. They help you act even when your motivation is low, because the reminder appears before you drift away. Cues make movement easier by giving your mind a clear signal at the right moment. Your environment influences your behavior more than you realize. If you rely solely on memory to build strong routines, you will struggle because your mind is busy handling stress, emotions, and daily obligations. But when you set cues that guide your actions, you remove pressure from your mind. A cue reminds you of your intention without forcing you to think about it. This small adjustment builds powerful momentum because it turns abstract goals into visible prompts. When the cue appears, your brain recognizes the signal and shifts into action. This makes consistent behavior more natural and less stressful. Simple cues work best because they match the way the mind learns.
The brain responds quickly to familiar signals. When you repeat a cue, the association becomes stronger. Soon your mind sees the cue and automatically moves toward the intended behavior. For example, placing your workout shoes near your bed can signal your morning exercise. Keeping a notebook on your desk can remind you to reflect or plan. Preparing a glass of water the night before can encourage hydration in the morning. These cues are not dramatic. They are small, steady, reliable nudges that direct your actions without overwhelming you. To develop cues that work, you must start by choosing behaviors that matter to your routine. Once you know what actions you want to strengthen, you can design cues that support them. The key is to attach each cue to something you already do or something you naturally see. This creates a smooth transition from intention to action. You are not forcing yourself to remember. You are placing reminders in your physical or mental space. These reminders help you take action before doubt or distraction has a chance to interrupt your progress. Cues become powerful when they are consistent. When your mind sees the same cue every day, the association becomes stronger. Over time, the cue becomes automatic. You do not need motivation to act. The cue itself does the work of starting your behavior. This creates a stable routine because you are supported by signals rather than relying solely on willpower. Willpower fades. Cues. A strong routine is not built on sudden effort, but on steady reminders that keep you aligned with your goals. Simple cues also help you stay connected to your long-term vision. Many people have goals but lose track of them during their busy day. A cue can reconnect you to your intentions in a matter of seconds. A short message on your wall, a calendar notification, a visible object, a daily question, or a repeated phrase in your mind can serve as a reminder of what you want to build. When these reminders appear, they bring your attention back to your purpose. This prevents you from drifting into habits that weaken your routine. A cue acts as a bridge between your current moment and your long-term direction. Your mind also responds to emotional cues. A photo that inspires you, a positive message on a sticky note, a meaningful object on your desk, or a song that sets your focus can shift your state quickly. Emotional cues help you act because they influence your feelings. When your emotions shift, your actions follow. A stable routine requires actions that are supported by both logical and emotional reminders. When something touches your emotions, you become more committed to acting on it. Cues can also be behavior-based. This means linking one action to another. When you finish one step, the next step becomes the cue. For example, finishing breakfast can cue you to review your tasks. Sitting at your desk can cue you to begin your most important work. Putting away your phone can cue you to focus on learning. These behavioral cues reduce friction because you are building a natural chain of actions. When your actions become linked, your routine feels smoother and more predictable. One of the greatest benefits of cues is that they reduce forgetfulness. People often break routines, not because they lack discipline but because they forget their intentions. Life is noisy, thoughts are scattered, obligations build up. A simple cue cuts through that noise. It gives your mind a clear reminder without effort. This saves energy and helps you stay consistent, even on busy or stressful days. A cue protects your routine from being lost in the noise of daily life. Cues also support your routine by reducing hesitation. When you know exactly what to do when you see a cue, you waste no time thinking. You move directly into action. Hesitation kills momentum. But cues keep you engaged because they remove the need for inner debate. You no longer ask yourself if you should act. The cue answers the question for you. This shift in behavior keeps your routine stable and reduces the number of opportunities for distraction to pull you away. To strengthen your routine with cues, you must keep them visible and intentional. Hidden cues do not work. Complicated cues create confusion. A cue must be simple, direct and easy to understand. The moment you see it, your mind should know what it means. Over time, this creates a reliable pattern. Each cue triggers the same response. Each response reinforces the habit. Each habit strengthens the routine. A strong routine requires cues that evolve with you. As your goals grow, some cues may no longer serve you. You can adjust them. You can replace them with more meaningful signals. This keeps your routine fresh and aligned with your development. A cue should never feel forced. It should feel natural. When a cue feels helpful, your mind accepts it. When it feels unnecessary, your mind ignores it. Paying attention to what works helps you refine your routine. Cues also help you stay mindful. Mindfulness does not require long practice. It only requires awareness. When a cue appears, it pulls your attention back to the present moment. It reminds you to act with purpose. This moment of awareness is powerful because it breaks automatic habits that do not support your goals. A cue interrupts old behavior and directs you toward new behavior. This interruption is where real change begins. Developing cues is an act of self-support. It shows that you believe in your ability to grow. It shows that you respect your goals. It shows that you are willing to create an environment that helps you stay consistent. These reminders are not signs of weakness.